Tiger.
All right, y'all ready?
Quavo said he got some beef with me.
Y'all ready to start?
All right.
Drake.
All right.
Drake.
Nigga's a legend.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? This is the Highly Advised Podcast. This is Nigel this week. I'm here chilling with Spence and Lau. Introduce yourselves.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Spence checking in right now. Follow me on Instagram, St. Kitch, st.kitch, or follow me on the Highly Advised Podcast Instagram. You know what I'm saying? Highly Advised Podcast. Check me out sometime.
Yo, everybody. It's your boy, Big Cozy, Too Cozy, a.k.a. El Capitan, a.k.a. Big Don. You know how I'm rocking, man.
This is
this
is Nigel relaxing without the G _Jackson.
Oh yeah, so I was listening to Finally Rich actually, and I was like, I remember not Nigel, Lau was saying some shit about like how if you play that shit back today, is nothing but just noise. Like, yo, that's all that shit. Be, let's get it. You know how I'm rocking, man. GBE.
I saw somebody posted that clip of fucking the guy getting mad about Chief Keef, talking about like just how much he loved Chief Keef.
Yeah, you know, it was like the 9-year anniversary of that clip or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Or 8 years. That shit was crazy.
You know he be outside with Fredo Ricci now.
They savages over there.
I just want to know why he was so passionate. Like, I still don't understand why he really wanted it like that. You know what I mean?
Do you ever remember the other video clip of Chief Keef when he came out? It was like this kid saying like, not Soulja Boy, but Chief Keef was like his daddy.
What?
Nah.
Yeah. It was like he kept saying like, oh, Chief Keef, my daddy, da da da. He's like, them niggas got true religions and all, like, just so much materialistic stuff, right? But it was so funny because when I went to listen back to Finally Rich, the angry dude that you was talking about, he starts the album off, and somewhere in the middle is where like the kid that was like, oh, Chief Keef's my dad, starts like he's like somewhere halfway through the album. That album is really bad.
I'll never understand
Classic.
why people go ahead and just claim that people are their father and they're not really like their dad. Like, to me, it's like, if you want to say like you really look up to that rapper, or you really like, what's the word, relate to them, then it's like, okay, cool, but like, why is that person your father?
I was just gonna say it's kind of like a celebrity crush type of deal, right? When guys be like, "Oh, make the stallion, man. That's wifey for real," stuff like that. Kind of like, "Oh, Cardi B," they did it with Nicki Minaj and all that. It's like a celebrity crush thing without the romantics in it. So maybe it's a guy's like, "Yo, man, that's this big bro," because they feel really connected with that artist. It's a fan thing, man. I don't hate on fans that's like that.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that you had some sort of fanboyism.
Yeah, sure. I think everybody has.
Yeah.
What you fanboy over?
Me? Let's see. What was I really into? I don't know. I can't name anything off the top of my head. Fuck no.
Nah, you seem like a 98 Degrees LFO type of dude, man.
Maybe, who knows? You know what I mean?
Bye.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not my shit. Nah, it's I think for me, like, what I would get really excited for was like comic books and shit, man. Like, I was just really into comic books and shit. So like when I remember when I was younger, like when they started coming out with like, like the first Spider-Man and shit, I was all over that. I was like, yo, I gotta go and see that shit. I cried one time at the movie theaters because I couldn't see the first Pokemon movie.
What? Yeah,
I was young, and like we were at the movie theater and all the tickets were sold out, fucking balling like a little bitch. Like, yeah, man.
Your mom probably was like, yo, like,
it was my dad.
Just a card.
It was my dad. So I know he's probably even more pissed. He's probably like, yo, man, like, get the fuck up. Stop crying. Like,
it's like, come on, son. You serious right now? You really crying over a cartoon, bro? Get up, man. Get up. If you keep crying like that, I'm gonna just hit you, yo. Bull just grab you by your shirt. Just gotta say, like, yo, don't mind him. Back in those days, especially, ain't nobody even gonna trip off that shit.
It's never been like another person, though. You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't think I've ever tripped out off another person. I know I used to always say, like, to me, I grew up, my thing was always music. So
Okay.
like I've always connected to, like, as a fan, I'm a huge Jay-Z fan. And I've always connected to his music just because of, like, with like not having my father there like he should have been or whatever, right? Like you say, like, oh, like his music has lessons in it, like in terms of just like being a better person or whatever, or like understanding, like, okay, this person has reached some success and he illustrates it through his music on his success. So like I found that I think for me that was like the closest thing of like fanboying. I mean, granted, I did have a conversation with Charles Hamilton once,
Oh,
but
really? How was
like
that?
it was weird. It was kind of cool. Like this is MySpace days.
Okay.
Like I randomly followed him on MySpace. I was listening, huge fan of his music. I messaged him, and he hit me back. He was like, "Yo, thanks for the love, da da da." And I think maybe we exchanged like one or two more messages, but he wrote like a whole paragraph. I think Snoop Dogg did the same thing.
Nah, man. Charles Hamilton talks to his fans. I respect that shit.
Yeah, I definitely respect that. I know he's actually going to be on Charles Hamilton. He's going to be on Cypher Click's new album, actually.
Oh, really? That's dope.
Yeah, it should be pretty dope. I can't wait to hear what that sounds like, because I haven't heard Charles Hamilton in a while.
So for me, a fanboyism thing, since we all talking about it, for me it would be like pro wrestling in the early 2000s, right? I used to be sick when every time like The Rock lost, and
I knew you were a Rock fan.
Yeah, bro, I'm a bit, yeah, man. I used to be sick as shit, and I know the big feud was like him and Stone Cold and shit like that. And I fought with Stone Cold; he was cool, but every time they had The Rock lose, and and like 2001, 2000, I back then I used to think the shit was real. You know what I mean? Until I got wise and
Right.
realized the shit was fake. But yeah, I used to be sick when The Rock lost. I was like, man, son of a bitch, People would be sick about other niggas, like, oh man, The Undertaker. I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Who cares? But The Rock, nigga. You know what I mean? And so yeah, so everybody does have it in their own ways and facets.
I mean, shit. I remember we drove to North Carolina once. I think you know how you remember Radio Shack, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And like how they used to have like microphones set up and stuff. We were in North Carolina visiting my aunt, and we stepped into a Radio Shack, and it had like the microphones set up and the headphones and everything. And this is when I was a huge Bow Wow fan. I knew all his lyrics, like front to back. My uncle was like, "Yo, rap his lyrics real quick." Yo, son, I swear to you, it was like it felt like I was in like
He's like, do that little dance.
yo, yo, facts. Yo, I felt like I was in like in a Rap City, the basement, because it was like it was weird. It was like just this weird thing, and like because it was him and the salesman, like the salesman, and I just was like, oh, this shit's hot. And then I was just like, yeah, I'm going back. I think after that, I think we went back to the car. I was like, yeah, I should be a rapper one day, and I'm doing a podcast.
I mean, it's not so bad though,
Yeah, I ain't
Like,
listen. This is the best alternative.
look, man, you were sitting there listening to a little Bow Wow, getting your shit off in the middle of the store. Kind of funny, like trying to like recognize that. Speaking of people listening to shit though, one of our listeners chimed in recently, and they sent us one of their opinions on something that we were covering last week. Nick Cannon. We're gonna play that for y'all just to kind of give y'all a little taste of what they were thinking.
Let's hear this.
Boom, 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 boom.
Always loving that. That's cool that the
Comedian Nick Cannon is going through it because unfortunately he got fired from Viacom. To me, he took leftover pizza from the fridge because he was hungry and angry. We've all been there. Then put it in the microwave for 3 minutes, which is way too long. Then when he took it out, took a bite, he realized he burned his mouth. He should have waited for the pizza to cool down a little bit before he ate it. At work, I take things personal, especially constructive criticism, and I wonder why. Would that person even come up with that conclusion? Is it because of their life history? And I wish I could go off, trust me. But sorry, I don't live in a world without consequences. He could have expressed his side without judging and generalizing a group of people. And maybe he wouldn't be where he is today. I wish Nick Cannon the best.
So who's taking the floor?
Go ahead, Nigel, man.
Well, I mean, like I can see where she's coming from. Definitely. I guess.
Elaborate.
Well, hold on, wait. I'm about to get into it. So, me personally, I can see where she's coming from. I think Nick Cannon was speaking from a place where he not necessarily was angry, but where he was speaking from like these were facts to him. So I think he like was kind of expressing himself in that fashion, even though he still did end up generalizing people in one group. So I can understand like why people took it as a bad thing that he said. But I don't think he was necessarily angry in what he said, but still he said something that offended a decent group of people.
Mm, I mean,
Mm-mm-mm.
definitely shouts out to her for giving an opinion and tuning in. That's the most important thing. So definitely shouts out to you, madam. I respect her opinion, right? And this is why I respect her opinion because everybody's entitled to one. I don't think Nick Cannon was angry. That's just my opinion when he was explaining it, just from like the video when he like saying what he was saying. I
Right.
understand when she was saying like, kind of like he bit his tongue or he should have watched what he was saying, and I get that. But you're always gonna have people that's not. I put it like this: when you have a platform, kind of like how we're building our platform or stuff like that, not everything you say is gonna be favored by everybody.
Sure.
You're always gonna have people that's gonna be like, all right, they shouldn't have said it like this. They should have never done it like that. You're gonna have people like, oh fuck him, he's canceled, and then you're gonna have people like, you know what, he's right. So I feel like this is one of those super touchy subjects that you actually have to sit down and really have an open mind and an open space with it before having a critical judgment as and that's just my piece on it. But definitely shouts out to the young lady that definitely gave her thoughts and opinion on it.
Yeah. Shout outs to her. I've learned over the years it's always good to actually I was having a conversation about this just the other day. It's always valuable to get opinions of those that well, it's just good to be able to have the opinions of others. So it allows you to make a more informed opinion for yourself, right? Like they say, it's always better to be the last one to speak in a room because you've heard everybody else first. I would say like I think just like the fan that submitted this work to us, I feel similar to what she said in the context of, we have to be conscious of the consequences behind our actions, right? Or anything that we say and being responsible for the platform that we have, right? So even like being responsible for the platform that I have and that we all share. I think even Nick Cannon came out and he said himself like, yo, he maybe had jumped the gun in the words that he said and so on and so forth. But I think a lot of his belief systems come from whatever he's been learning, right? And I think whatever he's been learning is my whole thing is like, and it's not necessarily saying the from the clip you played it itself, but just in general, I think a lot of times before we criticize, it should be more of a teaching moment, right? Similar to like that No Name and J. Cole situation, right?
Yeah.
Where J. Cole was they try to cancel J. Cole because he said like, yo, like teach me. And they're saying that's the problem. He should just want to read or whatever, right?
Which is stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think in the same sentiment, like, yo, sometimes it's better to have when we differ in opinion, or if there is a difference of an opinion, or you just disagree, well, just a difference of opinion, you disagree. Sometimes it's better to be like, hey, let me tell them let me inform them, let me give them an information that they may have been blind to. So I think just from saying that, like I value that she was able to propose her opinion. And I mean she also sounds honestly, it sounds like she was like from TMZ or something like that. But yeah, I think she had the right to her opinion. I don't necessarily agree completely. I mean, because I think it was more or less, I think the proverbial pizza was something that like he wanted. It was something that was more or less of something that there was no timing for personally. I don't think there would have been, I don't think he could have said that at in any space, like, and no matter what the bandwidth would be. Like, I don't think he would be able to be comfortable in any space where he could say something like that publicly and not still have the same outcome. So, but I mean, similar to what she said, I wish him the best. Thank you for your opinion. I mean, we all have one. It's great to be able to have people vocalize their opinion just like anybody else.
Good speaking
Um,
voice. Shouts out to you for sending that into us.
I will say though, out of speakers, right? And I'm not saying her, but everybody shouldn't give their opinion sometimes, right? And I think you have some people that when they give their opinion, they sound, and I hate saying this because I feel like you should never criticize someone for their own opinion, but sometimes they sound crazy and nuts, right? And I think from like the summation of this week, we all have felt that way about Kanye. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I'm not sure if the fans listening, like, if you guys don't know, Kanye did his first presidential rally in what was it, South Carolina? Because you were talking about, well, I think when we talked about the last episode, it was it was that same night, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
man. So I didn't expect the
Fucking
whole
night.
Kanye West thing to really be that day first and foremost. I thought it was gonna happen today. But I listened to it. I listened to the majority of it, and he had a lot to say.
Dog,
And
he talks in circles.
oh hell yeah, he does. Like you know what his rally proved to me more or less than anything. One, he does need help, and two, he needs a public speaker because I feel like he had a lot to say, not all of it bad, but it's like when he actually gets to the point, he makes sense sometimes. But otherwise, it's just like you're saying some wild shit in between. You know what I mean? It's like from point A to point B, it's like we're going on a crazy ride. But
Yeah,
once we get to point B, it's like, okay, I can kind of see where you're coming from.
right. I mean, but see, to me, my thing is with Kanye is I we've been talking about this all week, and I've been vocal about this. I think nothing is wrong with him. I think he's
That might be true too.
he is. I believe it's true because he's. When I watched it, right, I didn't even get through the whole thing. I tried watching the whole thing multiple times. It's just real cringy to some extent. Seeing like definitely like how we were talking about like with musicians and how like Kanye was one of those musicians that I loved growing up as a kid. Like Kanye sitting here saying shit like when he started talking about his daughter, right? He starts off by saying, wait, you saying something about like, I should say this a little bit more elegant. He's like, well, before I say it, let me think. And they said, matter of fact, I'm gonna just say it how I want to say it. Let me figure out how to say it. And they said, matter of fact, I'm gonna just say how I want to say it. To me, that's an indicator that he knows what he's talking about. He's conscious of like for me to say, let me get let me figure out the best way to say it. And then I say, fuck it, throw it out the window and just say whatever I'm thinking. I'm conscious of whatever my objective is in that statement at the end of the day. And that's how I look at Kanye. Either Kanye is like vehemently sick and he needs help, or Kanye is literally pulling the hey, I have a mental health issue. So since I'm bipolar, I'm gonna just use this as my scapegoat. And everybody just writes it off like, hey, that's Kanye being Kanye. Or Kanye has seen something on the other side. They pull back the curtain a little bit more, and he's seen some shit, and he tried to say, yo, I almost killed my daughter, bro. Like, there's some shit going on back here. And it's like, fam, you can't be saying, like, you're saying stuff with the idea of getting people riled up. That's all he does. That's all he does so he can promote an album. And Donda was supposed to come out Friday, and it did.
I think that Kanye needs serious mental help. I really think that last week's, you know, events just showed like the guy really needs the right people around him. And not only that, I don't want to say what kind of mental help he needs, but he needs something. What he displayed was not normal behavior. The thing that worries me is people, because he's a celebrity and he's a legend in the rap game. People love to be like, oh well, this is just promotion for our album, and I feel like don't be so quick to to say that, and this is just my opinion. Don't be so quick to say that, because what if he actually is going through something where mentally he's sick, and then something, God forbid, but something tragic happens to him, or he does something tragic to somebody else due to his illness, and then the same people criticizing are going to be like, wow, like, damn,
I
and I'm
mean,
not, and
go ahead.
I feel like that what he's doing, it's not right. I'm not saying that he's right, and I'm not saying that we
Right.
should feel sorry for the things he said, but I'm saying like take a bigger picture, look at the bigger picture of it. Like what he's saying is, a result of what he's going through, and the way he's going about it, of course, is really bad because he's displaying such behavior where it's kind of like the average person is looking at it and kind of like, what the fuck is going on? And he had episodes like this before. And to me, Kanye doesn't need this type of promotion to sell an album. He doesn't. So I feel like that him doing this and him doing that, and there's been documented history that, he's on medicine. Even his wife came out and said that, that he has a bipolar disorder. And the thing that's pretty worrisome about this is like, as people are laughing at him, not saying that you guys are, but as people are laughing at him or saying like, oh, he's canceled and this shit, this and that and the other, they're not realizing like, damn, like, maybe this guy, he needs to be absolved from the world and actually have people around him to get him what he needs. Like, because you can only imagine his family what they're probably going through, right? And I know a lot of people like to talk shit about the Kardashians and all that, but like realistically, Kanye, he don't have no family, right? That's like the only family that he really got because his mom passed away, which was kind of like the start of his mental issues. So the Kardashians, which is and his children, that's it. Like that's his family, and I don't want to paint them out to be like evil people like a lot of people on social media do. So it's just kind of like imagine what all that shit that they're facing as well. I'm not saying that they're the perfect people neither. I'm not saying that because I
Right.
feel like that's another conversation to go with. But just looking at it like as a positive standpoint, kind of like it's just a whole sad situation. What he said it wasn't right. How he went about the things he said wasn't right. And I look at that. I'm like, man, this dude just needs some help, and hopefully
And
he could get that.
and hopefully he can if he has an issue. And I guess for me being on the opposing stance of what you're talking about, for me my thing is this, like you said, it's true. He's done this. His families came out and said he said in his music that he has like issue, right? He's even promoted one of his albums with my what was on the cover of that one album where it's like the mountain. I think he said like
Yay.
yeah. I think he said it was like being bipolar is my superpower or something, right? Like he don't get me wrong, like it is quote unquote documented that he has a issue, right? But at the same time, my issue is why is it that every time we end up having this discussion about Kanye, it's always when Kanye is putting out something, right?
Right.
When Kanye is putting out an album because he promoted an album throughout this whole mess mess or whatever, right? Puts out this thing and it says, "Yeah, I'm dropping Donda, an album." My thing is, in the past decade, many of your albums or anything that you're trying to release to the world, whether it be your Yeezy brand or something of that nature or music related, it's always this is the rollout that he always goes with. And for me, it become at some point it does become like it's like the wolf, it's like the boy cried wolf to some extent. It's like, okay, if you have an issue, I understand that, and we need to figure out something. But why is it the fact that if I don't think Kanye could sell those huge numbers like he once did without any like without a promo run. But my thing is, if I'm your family and everything like that, and like he still has a few people around him that are friends from his childhood, or not maybe not childhood, but that he came in the game with, like fam. So nobody says anything to Kanye when it's album time, when it's time to release an album, nobody has anything to say. They just let him go out because it's like to me that's my thing. Like it happens every almost the majority of his albums. It happens outside the gospel albums and stuff like that. It happens almost every album, and it's just like yo, I understand when you're creative and at a genius level of creativity that he's at, right? And we won't even have to dispute that. I understand there are some things that in order to be great at something else, you may have to off put something another area. But my thing is every album. I'm a huge Kanye fan. Have every Kanye album, listen to every Kanye album, so on and so forth. Right. But to me, my thing is this: every album you do this. So if you're doing this every album, at some point, it's hard for me to say, oh well, I hope I think he's just going crazy or whatever. Like, it's somewhat dismissive, and some of the shit he's doing, he might be seeing some of the things that's going on, but he knows, hey, this is a persona that people write off. Similar to in 50 Cent's new book, he talked about this, where when he's creating films, he's Curtis Jackson, right? When he's being the quote unquote bully on Instagram, the media portrays him as 50 Cent, the rapper. And he said because of that, he takes advantage of that. He's conscious of, okay, when I decide to bully people, asking where my money is, da da da. 50 says I take advantage of that, knowing that that persona does not hurt another image that I have in the entertainment space with the creation of TV shows and so forth. So I think to in some aspect, I think Hollywood's a different space, and I think Kanye West probably does the same to some extent. At some point, everybody has to figure out how to roll music out, and in order to roll music out, you have to figure out what's the best way. And for Kanye, I think knowing that he's always been written off as crazy, being written off as, oh, he's got issues, da da da, but he's very outspoken. I think he recognizes, like, to some extent he's taking advantage of that. Personally, I do believe that. Now, if he's sick, I hope he gets help. I know he went to a hospital. He went to a hospital. He was having because of his anxiety, left the hospital without getting treatment because there was too many people, from what I'm hearing. Ambulance came to his ranch in Iowa or Omaha, wherever it is. Came to his
Wyoming.
Wyoming. They came to his Wyoming ranch, checked him out. They said everything was fine with them.
Here's my thing, right? Like, it's kind of weird that all this stuff is going on, and I still do think he does need help. But it's also kind of weird that he has people that have known him for a bit of time, whether they're still in close contact with him or not, and they go out and see him and they say, "Hey, he's perfectly fine. He's just being Kanye." It's like something about it just all seems kind of odd, is what I would say for sure. And I think, like, definitely if this is his promo run, then it's a little that's just a wild way to roll out your album.
I
But
mean, but he's done it before, and
yeah,
it
he
works.
he has, but it's like at the same point in time, it's just like, damn, man, like, this is what that means everybody's essentially in on it, and everybody's like, okay, cool, like, Kanye's gonna be Kanye. He's gonna go out there, he's gonna say some shit, and we're all just gonna just watch and still listen to his album. We got to figure out what we're supporting, because if we're just supporting somebody essentially using their mental illness or lack thereof, I don't want to say lack, because I feel like he does have something problem. He does have some problem. But if we're watching somebody using that to their advantage in that way, that's kind of like something that I don't feel that should be supported.
Right, exactly. I agree. I From that aspect, I definitely agree. My thing is just like I said, like I I think Kanye is genius in the way that he does it. If this is, like, I think it is a promo run to some extent, and I think some of it is uh, a way of expressing himself, because when you, like Dave Chappelle said, if you call someone crazy, it's dismissive.
Right.
So to him, he probably says, "Listen, I can get some shit off my chest, and nobody's going to say anything." So I think he just does it with enough time in between, because we live in such a vacuum today, that he's like, "Yo, listen, by the time they forget about the last time, we can put out something else." So, I mean, if something's wrong, I hope he gets help. I mean, he tried to do something to get help, and they said the medics saying he was fine. So if Kanye's being Kanye, he's being Kanye. But I don't know. That shit it's just crazy, man. And he's just so on a tangent, bro.
All the time, all like calling out different people, Drake.
He
You know,
asked to be on. He pretty much told the people, make me a CEO on some clothing label or on Gap.
or
Like,
he's
he's like,
leaving.
yeah, like he was like, yo, it was like, yo, he's like, I want you all. Like, to me, my thing is like, yo, you're using all of this to get your personal gain out of what he's trying to accomplish. Because in the same breath, you do not close these big deals. Granted, it's a lot of times you have a team around you, but when you close these type of deals with Gap and everything like that, you recognize there's some type of ingenuity that has to come from him to be making $126 million a year. You can't just be, you're just not that far off to me. Like
Right.
you can be off. Don't get me wrong. You can be messed up or off somewhat, offsetting. But at the same time, it's hard to convince me that he's just the Kanye that we see in public eye is who Kanye is behind the door. You know what I'm saying? And he's just able to still amass this type of wealth, the clothing and so forth.
I don't know. We'll see what goes on. Like, because this definitely isn't going to be the last time we see him. It's not going to be the last rally. We're definitely gonna have stuff to talk about for the next month or whatever. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be an interesting ride until we get to the point where the presidential debates come along for sure.
Yeah, that's in August too, I think, right?
Yep, it's right around the corner. We're about to head into more crazy times. It's not over yet.
Do you guys watch Ozarks?
No.
Yes.
Did you ever did you ever watch season 5?
I didn't know there was a season 5. I thought it was only 4 seasons, but
Okay, so it might be 4 seasons. The one with the brother in it, right?
yes.
That's who Kanye reminds me of the brother a lot.
Yes. And
A lot of the brother. And I think that I'll just leave it at that. He just reminds me of the brother a lot when he does these things.
yeah, he definitely fucked some shit up.
Yeah, because I haven't seen the show yet, so don't spoil shit. So have y'all listened to any of the new music that came out this week?
I listened to the Cole album. Not Cole album. I listened to I keep saying it's the Cole album, but the Logic album. It sounds like Jake. It sounds like it sounds like it would be a good J. Cole album, personally. It's a good album though.
Said it sounds like it would be a good J. Cole album.
Well, I was just gonna say it just sounds like it'd be a great J. Cole album. It's a good album, and like from some people I know, the consensus I'm hearing from some of the people I talked to, they believe that this may be his best album, Logic's best album. But to me, it's just it might be, and to me, it still sounds like it should be a J. Cole album, personally.
I don't know. I feel like that's kind of a shitty way to put it. Like, it's
good.
Yeah, okay, but like that's like a backhanded compliment, like saying like, oh yeah, the album's good. It would be great if it was somebody else's album as well. Like, you know what
that's
I mean?
Like the Dream. That's like when the Dream puts out music. When Dream puts out music, I like the Dream. I think he's a great artist. But when he put out one of those albums, I think it was like Foreplay. When I listened to those songs, I was like, they're great songs. But knowing that he's a songwriter, I'm like, this would have been a better song for Beyonce, or this would have been a song you should have given to Rihanna or Kelly Rowland.
The way you said it sounded like, yeah, I like Grease, but like it will be a really good Weekend song.
Okay.
But you see what I'm saying though? It's kind of like
I get it. I understand. I get it. I understand it. Just to me, I'll just leave it. I'll just say this. It's a good album. I think the beats are good. I've listened to it like once or twice. Like the beats are good. I like the majority of the content that's on the album. But when I listen to it, it makes me anticipate a J. Cole album, personally. And there's no slight to Logic. Like, I'm not even bringing, and granted, I've had some opinions about Logic before, but like, it's not saying it sounds, to me, it gives me the feeling of, oh, out of an artist that I like listening to, this is a good album, but it makes me want to, you know how you listen to an artist and you say, damn, I want to go listen to someone else now that reminds you of that music. That's how I look at it.
I can see that. I don't know. I just try to look at it from like the realm of Logic, and
I'm not a big Logic fan, so
that's fair enough. I mean, like, I can say that over like those last few projects, I think his qualities kind of went down a little bit personally. But what I will say is that I think this is probably his best album, alongside The Incredible True Story. It's definitely something I think is worth listening to. I don't, know why rappers say they retire. I don't think entertainers ever really retire. I just think they do what they do at a much slower rate. Like they just slow down. Like, cause I think he's going to be making music. He might not put it all out, but I'm sure we'll hear from Logic sooner or later.
Logic going to put out another album in like 3 years.
Probably
2.
Why is he retiring?
He said he's retiring to take care of his son. And I respect that. You know what I mean? He's put out a project like every year for like the past like 7 years or something like that. Like he puts out a decent amount of music. So I mean, like I don't see him not putting out music for, just for ever again. You know what I mean? I just don't see that happening.
Well, I was gonna say like spent 2 minutes You mentioned J. Cole. Did either of you guys listen to the J. Cole singles that he came out with?
Yeah, I listened to the J. Cole singles that came out. They were pretty good actually.
Yep.
I listened to them both once. Like they were pretty good, but I think that's where it kind of, and maybe that's the thing about the Logic album personally. Like, because to me, like I think when I listen to the J. Cole songs, I like them. They were really good.
Okay.
But like I think when I listen, and it does really sound like a backhanded compliment. So I'm not gonna say it, but like, man, fuck it. Like it just it just sounds to me. It sounds like a nostalgic album to me. Like that's similar to like Logic, well, similar to J. Cole to some extent, and even like some of the beats. And I think maybe it's probably some of the beats that he used on this album. They connected a lot to me to like Friday Night Lights by J. Cole. Like J. Cole had like he had like because he used the Erykah Badu joint. I know we're talking about J. Cole, but just in terms of the Logic album, like he uses the Erykah Badu song mixed with the Outcast Elevators beat, which was pretty good. It was another joint off of there that was actually a beat that No ID did on, well, I don't think No ID made the beat, but it was a beat that was on J. Cole's Friday Night Lights album. Like listening to Logic's album, I think it was some nostalgia that it gave me in terms of maybe the beats and the just the style wise. It's a great album. It's a really good album. I ain't gonna go great. I have to play it a couple more times, but
Yeah.
It's really good. It's a really good album that it does remind me of like
Shit that you listened to when you were growing up.
Yeah,
Because that's what I
exactly.
felt too. That's what I felt when I was listening to it as well. So like I can see where you're coming from. It makes me feel like he had a music taste similar to mine. But
Exactly.
I guess getting back to the J. Cole songs though, I fuck with those songs. Like they're both good. I want to listen like it's weird when people put out like, you know, singles like this because especially from an artist that I'm looking forward to their music, I don't really like to play it a lot. I heard them both. I listened to them both once, and I'm waiting for J. Cole's album to come out because I want to be able to like play them in sequence the way they're supposed to be on the album. For me, like if I get a song and I like it, I'm gonna play that shit out. I already know I am.
Facts. I've done the same thing. Even like you know that the pack that you sent with like the Grease EP, like
The little wait.
yeah, like the Drake leaks. I actually combined talking about sequencing. I combined the leaks from like I guess the leaks that came out earlier this year with the leaks from the what you sent out just the other day or whatever, like last week. It really sounds like a great full Drake album, to be honest with you. Like, if you take a couple songs, take the Usher song away and all of that stuff, and you keep like 14 songs, it's like a really good album sequence wise. I've been playing the hell out of it, and it reminds me of what you're saying with J. Cole. Like, if it's a really good song, you'll probably listen to the song like over and over and over and over again.
Right.
So,
How many times did we all play Middle Child?
I didn't play that as much as I thought I would.
Oh, really?
Well, I played it a lot though.
I played Middle Child a couple times. I really played Snow on the Bluff quite a bit though.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
I fuck with that.
What'd you think of the songs?
I didn't listen to him yet. I would be real with you.
Hold on.
I just figured you did since you asked about him.
I didn't. No, this weekend.
Oh,
this weekend, I didn't listen to much music this weekend. So I didn't listen to Logic's album yet. I didn't listen to J. Cole songs yet. I did listen to a little bit of Lupe's new
word?
EP. Yeah,
Hablo.
Yeah. So here's my quick opinion on it. I just think, it was cool. That's it. It was a cool thing. I actually don't know what, if this is kind of like a precursor to a new album coming out or nothing. But for what it was, I was like, oh, it's cool. No bad songs or nothing like that on there. And that was it. But I could tell you this much. I think like next month it's going to be forgettable.
Somebody can correct me if they want. But I think he found this guy making beats online on Twitter. He found it. He like just kind of put it together in a loop and started rapping on it. And I think that's how they kind of collabed. This guy Karen Ellis.
Okay, cool. That's what's up.
Yeah. No, it's just the way it came about.
What I heard was I listened to the Lupe album. I didn't hear I didn't hear that he had looped the beat. I didn't hear the story about that beat being looped on Twitter. But I know he did shout out the dude on the song. He did shout out the dude on the song and say, "I got this beat from Twitter." And it was kind of curious. I was kind of curious. Me as a Lupe fan, I honestly I think this EP that he dropped was really good. It was more nostalgic beat wise. Like I think, and that's been my issue with Lupe to some extent as well. Like from
Yes.
a sound issue, from a sound wise, like beat wise, the beats are more like, I don't want to say they're kind of like the beats off that Logic album, but they're more boom bap-ish,
Okay.
right? To some extent. Would you agree, Lau?
For the Lupe thing, yeah, I have no problems with the EP that he dropped. Like I said, I thought it was cool. I like the beats. You know, of course, you know Lupe is a good rapper, so there's nothing to be said there. And then when he had like Virgil on there, it was cool. It was kind of like it gave me like it was like a sneaker collab, right? You have like a cool little sneaker collab, and you have two powers from separate entities coming together to drop for like a limited thing. So the EP, I was fine with it. The beat selection was dope. I mean, that's a cool backstory that the Nigel found with it. It's just that next month, we're not gonna be talking about it.
Jesus, man. Nah, I mean, I think that honestly, to be honest with you, I feel like this is going to be one of those joints for me. Like, I think this is probably, I think maybe the music that he put out this week was like something that was probably more for his core fans, because for me listening to this, it made me actually want to listen to Lupe Fiasco again. And
that's fair.
And like as a
Lyle just doesn't like Lupe. That's all.
Yeah, it's cool. It's some
he doesn't like him. He doesn't fuck with him.
It's cool. It's not Gucci, man. I understand.
Hey, man, you can't hate on Lawat, but what I'm saying though,
hey, man, super duper Lupe flow. That's all.
I think the Cool is like one of the best rap albums I ever heard.
You don't like Mural?
Say that again.
You don't like the song Mural?
That's actually a hard song too.
It's a really hard song.
It's a hard song.
No, I'm not. So let's set this straight because I already know where this is coming from. I don't hate Lupe if this is the theme that's going to be running. I just thought that the EP was just cool. That's it. Like
you're not going
hates Lupe and loves Trump. That's crazy. Like that's what's
crazy.
Wow.
Take it.
Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. I have to tell y'all something about that.
Wow.
But yeah, nah. Like I mean, Lupe. To me, it reminds me more of a boom bap Lupe. At the end of the day, bro. Like I know Lau has a bias. So I'll just speak from an unbiased standpoint. from an unbiased standpoint, I'll just say this. Like I would suggest people listen to it. It's one of those joints where you actually have to sit with it, I think, because he had like even he did one song where it's called Models or something. I don't even know. I think it was called Models or some shit like that. But the song pretty much is just him talking the whole time, like rapping about how pretty much how you'll have someone that's like an Instagram person that's a model, right? And then you'll have someone else that's like how pretty much we've been models throughout history, but just in different capacities. Is one of those albums where I think you gotta let it breathe for a while, and hopefully probably by next month you're like, yo, I actually rock with this. So, but I mean, it all depends on the biased opinion.
Hey, man, fuck it. I just know next month we ain't gonna be talking about this shit. I know we're not. I know what we will probably be talking about by the end of the year, which is we probably might be mentioning some West Side Gun or some shit like that. But I don't think we're gonna be talking about Lupe unless something happens with Lupe that brings up the conversation. And that's not as once again, it's not a knock on him. I thought the EP was cool. Nothing wrong with the EP. I have nothing bad to say about it.
Yo, but you're saying something bad about the EP. What I'm saying is yo, bro. I'm not saying nothing's bad about it. I just don't think anybody's gonna listen to this. I don't think anybody's gonna press play ever again after this month. And it's like, yo, fam, you're literally that's a backhanded way of saying this shit is trash.
Backhanded.
Hey, man. Hey, you know
that's
what?
A backhand for you.
Fucking Serena Williams on the shit.
Facts.
Hey, you know what's going to be played?
What's up?
I know that everybody saw that versus battle, so I know a lot of those songs that they were playing, niggas started playing them again.
Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
man. Yeah, that shit was actually kind of dope, man. I fuck with that. A lot. Man, one thing that I think is really great is to see like DMX like nowadays just kind of, living his life because he was going through his little troubles and whatnot. And it seems like he's in a better place now. And I really respect that growing up on his music and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Same here. I know the thing I did like about it the most was seeing someone like seeing Snoop and X both being in the same environment with each other and seeing how like, like to some extent like you able to see how they both evolved from what we knew as children, right? Like Snoop Dogg was once like the one of the gangster rappers essentially, right? While X was pretty much somewhat similar, I guess you could say, or a street rapper. But as like they grew or whatever, they grew and you could just see how like X like it took X going to rehab and like getting his life together. I remember when he was on Ayana Vazan and all of that shit, right?
Yeah.
To like now you see him just chilling, having a good time. Like he's like that uncle that like that he's mad cool, but everybody just gives him his space. While Snoop is like that uncle that's just like, yo, hey nephew, I used to do this at the club back in the day.
Yeah.
He started
You,
doing crip walking and everything, man.
that's the uncle you might smoke with.
So
Facts.
who won?
Oh, I got
Snoop.
Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, Snoop one.
I think the general consensus
Snoop blew him out.
outside of New York City is that Snoop won, but I see some New Yorkers they're like, oh, DMX won, and I'm
No,
like,
he
yeah,
didn't.
like yeah, I know if you from New York, so it's expected. It's kind of like you from New York, so you root for the Knicks, but everybody knows that they're not winning.
And
Just
I
like
fuck with DMX too, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
DMX plays some good jams like Slippin'. I know everybody forgot about that fucking song until he
I
played it
didn't.
that night.
Nah, how could you forget that song though? That's probably like one of his biggest songs.
Uh, I mean, it is a big song, but it's not big. It's like some of the other shit he was fucking playing, like the Rough Riders anthem. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, like
Uh,
in terms of Rough Rider anthem, in comparison, yeah, but like it's still like I think it's still probably maybe that might be a top 5 song to me of DMX's of all time.
well, you said the key word to you. You know what I mean?
Damn.
Kobe, he said to you. But with that being said, this is my first time watching the versus battle
I thought you
live.
was gonna say it's the first time you listening to
Slipping.
Slippin'.
No.
It's my first time listening to Slippin', so of
No.
course you're gonna have that opinion.
No. This is my first time watching the versus battle, and I'm glad that my first time was DMX versus Snoop. I thought that was a great battle.
Hold on,
Yeah.
you never watched any of them?
Not live, no.
Damn, man.
No.
They're
Oh
actually
wow,
kind of entertaining depending
Yeah.
on people. Like, but a lot of people are saying that this one's one of the better ones, though.
it is.
I- It was really good. I was entertained. I was like, yeah, this is dope. You know what I mean? So
I mean, I think them getting them into like the same space with each other it helped a lot.
I think that they should do that moving forward. But with that being said, I don't think I'm going to tune in to all of them. It just got to be something really interesting like DMX and Snoop.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I was surprised you were going to be a fan of this one because I know you said you didn't care for him because it's like a lot more. It's more just throwback artists.
Yeah, it was like a throwback act, but I gave it a chance because I listened to a lot of Snoop Dogg songs and I listened to a lot of DMX songs, so I was like, what, fuck it, let me just tune in. Like, if worst came to worst, I could just always leave the live.
Yeah, true. I mean, you can watch it on Apple Music also.
Yeah, I seen that, but I
Mm.
I just went on Instagram.
Snoop Dogg blew him out, and you knew it was gonna be a long night for X when Snoop started this whole joint off with gin and juice. So,
Yeah,
Speaking of tuning into things, another battle was announced this week. You got Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. in an 8-round exhibition.
Tyson is catching a body. Tyson is catching a body. Ain't no way around it. Tyson's catching a body.
Yeah,
I don't
man.
think Roy Jones Jr. has learned from his previous exhibition bouts. Like he's been getting knocked out. He got knocked out like 2 or 3 years ago by some no-name guy. You feel me? Let alone like when he lost I think it was even when he lost to Antonio Tarver, which was like decades ago. Like he could barely keep his feet underneath of him. And you want to go against which is considered probably one of the deadliest guys ever to box in history, right? Like, you see what he looks like. He's getting killed.
I got
bag.
I got Tyson in 1.
I got Tyson in 15 seconds.
Tyson is he might knock him out, kind of like that one lady that just got knocked out in 7 seconds. That's been playing all over SportsCenter.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is gonna be a short night for Tyson. A few rounds at the most.
What did you say during that fight last night? Yo, he's going to retire him.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's fucking. We'll talk about that in a second. But like, matter of fact, we can talk about that now if y'all want.
No, I wanted to have a conversation more on the Tyson shit. Honestly.
Okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead. Speak your mind. Speak your truth, brother.
Shut the fuck. Oh, nah, like listening to the Tyson, like looking at this fight, right? I don't know what is going on because I heard this is going to be a pay-per-view bout also.
Yeah. And they're going to have a docu-series leading up to it.
And Jake Paul is going to fight Nate Robinson. It's the dumbest shit.
Yeah. Hold on. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Hold on. Oh.
Like the basketball player.
Yeah.
He's going to be fighting Jake Paul.
Yeah.
Honestly,
hold on. Time.
Yeah.
This shit is going too far, yo. But this is going entirely too far.
But it's exhibition.
I know.
Yeah.
I understand that, but it's going too far. That's why I'm seeing Jake Paul getting beat up half the time on social media right now.
No, he just gets beat up on social media. That's just the thing.
But I think
really?
I think all that shit is scripted and staged too, right? Because like they showed a clip of Paulo Costa, knocking out Logan Paul, but the shit looks scripted. Now, don't get me wrong. If they were to get in a fight, Paulo Costa probably would injure him pretty badly. But that being said, and I'm no Jake Paul fan, but he actually has been boxing, on a competitive level longer than Nate Robinson. So I think Jake Paul, don't be surprised if he wins. Let's just say that.
Listen.
You're right,
and I look at this card as kind of like a celebrity boxing card, right? Because like there's the narrative for Tyson and Roy Jones is like, oh, two legends who used to be the shit back in the day is coming out of their retirement, clearly out of their primes.
But one said he's fighting again because the gods of war have summoned him to fight again. There's a difference between the two. I mean, I'm not stepping into a ring with someone that told me the gods have summoned me back to battle.
The thing is, I think he's taking this like very seriously.
He is. More power to Tyson.
Roy Jones, I saw him dancing in the ring like this.
He's having
Mike
fun.
Tyson looks like he's trying to kill somebody again. Like
Mike literally is Mike. Though, listen, the fact that I watched the clip on Twitter, right, and I remember watching this episode, but it was from Hot Box on Mike Tyson. He says like he's crying, talking about him not being who he once was and saying how dark of a place he has to go to fight. He's like, in order for me to fight, he was like, I can't fight again, man. He's like, I fucking love it, but I hate it because I have to turn into this dark person to fight. And to me, it's scary to hear someone saying that is completely healthy, completely sober. Well, he smokes weed, but outside of smoking weed, like doing like the Toad or whatever, like he's just a normal guy. He's just a chill dude. You say to yourself, fam, he is going to annihilate Roy Jones Jr. and make him wish he never stepped into the ring again over the age. What is he, like 46?
They're both like over 45 or some shit like that.
So
Tyson's 52, I think, or 51.
But you know who you blame for that? You blame well, fuck him. But you blame the promoter, and you blame B the commission, who's like, yeah, let's sanction this because this is, now, and I think that's why it's deemed as an exhibition and it can't be deemed as a professional bout because like what person in the right mind is going to sanction that? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's not it shouldn't be a sanctioned fight. But with that being said, are you guys going to buy the pay per view?
Nope.
That's the $1 million question.
I will find a way.
I will. I'm definitely gonna watch it. I don't know if I'm buying it. I might watch. I'm gonna find a way to watch it though. I definitely will find a way to watch it.
Tyson's 54, by the way.
54.
Yeah.
How old is Roy?
Hold on, give me a second.
All right. While you looking that up, hey, Loud. I don't know if you saw. And I guess this is kind of like an update from last week, right? And we ain't really got to jump too much into
51.
it, but 51. He's gonna die. He's gonna die, yo. Like Tyson looked like he's on TRT.
Yeah,
like
he looks like he's in decent shape, man.
Tyson, and now granted, filming can like change things, right? Like It's all about angles and cutting because it's a lot of those clips are very edited very quickly, right? So he could be really moving slow and it just looks fast. But to me, I'm not taking no chances. And granted, I wasn't a professional fighter at one moment in time. But I don't think Roy Jones Jr. should be saying, "Oh, I can take him. I can take him."
What were you about to say? You like cut off your thought.
Prior while you were looking the stuff up?
Right.
Oh, it was something about Oscar De La Hoya.
Okay.
I had seen something earlier this week that Oscar apparently Oscar was asked to, because Oscar was talking about coming out of retirement also, right?
Yeah.
And
That's a cokehead Oscar, man.
Well, long story short, Oscar pretty much he didn't confirm or deny, but he's saying it's always a possibility that he could fight Canelo.
Oh my god!
All right, so y'all ready to move on?
Oh my god!
Are y'all ready to move on? Because we not talking about bullshit.
I guess. I guess this further proves that Dana White was a lion. Like Oscar is on the coke. Like that's talk about saying absurd and.
All right. So what else do we have to talk about? Because I'm not giving that any time.
I'm not giving it. I just wanted his reaction. I needed to see what he was gonna say.
I mean, him and Kanye, they're working together, right?
Jesus, man.
Possibly.
But speaking of combat, did you guys see the main event of last night's UFC event?
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, Darren
really
Till.
good, really good,
Darren
really
Till
good.
Versus Robert Whitaker. That was a really good fight.
So yeah, I had a couple questions about that. Question number one, what did you think of the fight? Question number two, who did you think won? And question number three, who's next?
Ooh, I'll let Nigel start that off.
All right. So I had the fight scored 3-2 Whitaker. I thought it could be argued that it could be 4-1 Whitaker. But there was a couple rounds in there, specifically being the fourth and third round that I thought were kind of close. Well, I'm not sure if you watched the post-fight press conference, but apparently in the first round, Robert Whitaker threw a kick to his knee and blew out his knee, and that affected him for the rest of the fight. So that's why he didn't seem, that's why he didn't seem like so, up, kind of bouncy for the rest of the fight, I guess is the best way to put it. I think Robert Whitaker fought a good fight, but Darren Till honestly impressed me a little bit more than Robert Whitaker because I thought he just looked good. He looked fast. He looked like he could take on somebody else other than Robert Whitaker in the top rankings. The way I see it is if his knee was 100%, or I should say in better shape than what it was before the kick, he could have probably won that fight because I didn't see him slowing down. And even with a bum knee, he made the fight competitive. I think I'm glad for Robert Whitaker because he came back, from that loss to Israel. But at the same point in time, I'm not sure who he should fight next because I don't think that next person should be Israel because I think Israel beats him again. And I'm not going to say he does it quicker, but I think he beats him again and doesn't have much of a problem doing it.
I mean, I think there may be some truth to that, only because I think Izzy is just getting better as a fighter. Like like just in terms of like his growth. I like Darren Till's performance more last night than Robert Whitaker's, but I still had Whitaker winning the fight. But at the same time, you could tell like after that first round, where Till was just beating Whitaker without any way of arguing that he was actually losing, that Whitaker was actually winning that round. Outside of the first round, I think Whitaker was actually I didn't know he blew his knee out, but he was actually showing and proving himself last night for the most part.
Right.
I would actually like honestly, similar to what you said, like I'm not sure who I want to see Whitaker fight next, but I think I'm more curious to see who Darren Till fights following this, because I think just from his performance last night, I think who knows what could have happened had he just pressed the gas a little bit more in certain rounds, because
Slightly more.
yeah, because 3 and 4 were like close rounds, but I think I gave round 3 to Till, and then I gave rounds 2, 4, and 5 to Whitaker. So I had a 3-2 Whitaker as well, but from what I remember. But yeah, I would say overall that I am more excited to see what happens to Till moving forward. Definitely, because I think this was his first time in that weight class as well, correct?
Second time. The first time was against Kevin Gastelum.
Okay, he did pretty well against him. So
Yeah.
I mean, it could be one of those things where you just have to, it's trial and error and just making those adjustments. But you got to be careful when you're jumping up in weight, because to go from what was it 170 to 185.
Yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say it's gonna be hard for him to go back down.
I don't think he will. I think he should stay at 185. He looked fast. Like, he looked accurate. He looked like he was first to the punch every time. Every time him and Robert Whitaker got together, it looked like Robert Whitaker had a hard time getting in on him. I think he would maybe he could fight somebody like Jacare, like somebody who's like a decent competitor there, like ranked. I'm not sure what Jacare's recent record looks like, but I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head who's like, oh, okay, he might be a good fit other than Kelvin Gastelum, and he beat him. So
right. I guess it's to be seen. I guess to be determined. But yeah, those would be some good bouts for him as well, though. I can't say that.
I thought it was a really good technical fight as well. I thought it was a close fight. I scored the fight for Till. I gave Till rounds 1, 3, and 5, and I definitely gave Whitaker round 2, and I gave Whitaker round 4. Now I think that rounds 3 and 4 was definitely the closest rounds, where it could have went either way depending on how you saw the fight. And I'm not mad that Whitaker won. It was just a close fight. It was a good performance by both guys. The thing that came out of it for me was Darren Till can hang with the top 5 middleweights, and 2, he uses a whole lot of feints in his striking, and really fucked that really fucked up Robert Whitaker's approach, because Robert Whitaker, he likes to blitz his opponents quite a bit when he comes in and striking. That's how he got knocked out with Israel Adesanya.
That's how he got popped last night.
Yeah, that's how he got caught too. And the whole Israel thing, I know in the post fight thing, he was like, "Oh well, that wasn't me in there." Da da da. No, it was him in there, and because that's how he normally fights. And I just think that with the Till thing, he realized he had to be more patient, or he was going to get knocked out. Because I felt like Till was landing the harder shots, but Rob definitely, he was having a higher output of strikes. Now, I think with Till, he just needs to be more aggressive with the striking, and with him being more aggressive with striking, I think that he's going to be I mean, at least in the striking department, he's going to be a problem for a good amount of those middleweights. Now, with that being said, I think Till, he should probably fight like Jack Hermanson next. And then I think Robert Whitaker should fight Jared Cannonier, because right now, besides Israel Adesanya and Paulo Costa, I think Jared Cannonier, has the longest win streak in the middleweight division. So it should be Whitaker and Jared Cannonier as a title eliminator, and then Jack Hermanson and Till fighting each other, to get another big contender bout. Right now, the middleweight division is looking good, and once in September, when Adesanya and Costa fight, we should really see this division really we should see who's really next once that fight happens. But I mean, with that being said, though, it's just kind of like the fight UFC Fight Island is done. Now we're moving on. I mean, now we're moving back to Vegas, and the next big card is going to be the Cormier card and the Miocic. Damn, I said that all fucking wrong. Cormier versus Miocic, and I'm pretty sure leading up to it, we'll definitely have a preview to that card.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
we're gonna save that for another time, but I'm kind of excited to talk about it though.
yeah.
Is there anything else we had to talk about this week?
I know one thing that I did see in the news that was kind of interesting though was
UFOs.
The UFOs. I definitely saw that, but I was actually going to bring up the laziness that has occurred recently with the name change of the Washington Redskins into Washington football team.
Oh,
Wow, Lyle's team.
Yeah, that's what they should just call it at this point.
Yeah, just Lyle's team.
I'm a better representative than Dan Snyder right now. That man, come on, like, so this is a crack of fucking shit. So this guy, like, this
grinds
guy,
my gears.
Yeah, man, this shit does grind my fucking gears, and it grinds a lot of people's gears who aren't even Redskins fan. You had months, not even months, fuck it, right? You have all this fucking time in the motherfucking world, and the only thing you could come up with is a temporary name to be like, well, for right now, just for the 2020 season, we're going to call it the Washington football team. One, it's extremely fucking petty, right? It's extremely fucking petty because it comes off as Dan is like, you know what, fuck you, Nike, fuck you, FedEx. I could do whatever the fuck I want. You know, I'm like Jerry Jones. And then it also comes off as fucking lazy, like he didn't put any fucking effort into even looking at the names. It's so ridiculous. Any of us, anybody, my goddamn daughter, and shouts out to my daughter. She's very beautiful. She could come up with a better motherfucking name than that. It's another week and another time for Redskins fans just to hang their head low. And once again, we got to be like, well, it's another week, guys. So let's see what's gonna happen. How fucking low can we go? How much lower? How
low? Can you go to the float?
Exactly.
Oh no, go ahead. Keep talking.
I just think like this shit is just fucking. It's ridiculous. The only shining light that we could get out of this is, for the the Washington's football team. Excuse me. It's for them to have a good season, right? For Coach Ron Rivera to really coach the team a lot better than the fucking waste of money Jay fucking Gruden. For Dwayne Haskins to finally come in his own as a starting quarterback and start putting in pussy ass quarterbacks like Case Keenum and shit like that, and for Chase Young, the number one pick of the draft, to do his thing on defense. But that's just us being hopeful, right? We won't know, you know what I mean? But it's so fucking crazy that the motherfucking Redskins is in the motherfucking media for fucking something stupid because we have an owner who just refuses to change the name, right? Then the Nike had to pull the shit. Then he, fire went up in his ass, and it's like, oh, we got to do something. But you know what? At the same time, it's still my fucking team. So fuck all you, fuck you guys. Let's. I feel like it. Part of me feels like Dan.
Man.
I feel like part of me is like Dan wants his attention because he knows that his front office fucked up so bad, and our team had to fucking pay for it. I'm just so fucking frustrated with this shit, man. Fuck Dan Snyder, man. I hope that we come up with a good name in the fucking future. I just hope that Dan Snyder just goes, man. We got to Donald Sterling him. He has to fucking go. He's a fucking fuck him, man.
Talk to him, Pop. Talk to him, man. Talk your shit, Fee.
I mean, like last week, right? We were talking about the whole sexual harassment, sexual allegation shit, and like how fucked up that shit was, right? That the Redskins was going through that. The week before, we were talking about, Nike pulled the funds and they pulled all their merchandise because Dan Snyder, he was still sitting on his fucking thumb and enjoying the way it felt. And then next week, I'm like, yo, what's next week, bro?
Antonio Brown.
Yo, you saw where he had a baby, right?
Yeah,
Nah.
Yeah, he just had his
yeah,
kid.
yeah,
Congratulations, Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
yeah,
congrats, man.
yeah. Fuck him. So they, they,
Jesus.
but I mean, look, as a Washington football team fan, I'm praying for the best for my team, and I know that even people who aren't even fans, they're probably they're just like, damn, hopefully this could go over. Right now, we're the armpit of the NFL right now, just because of all the controversy that's surrounding us. It's like, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? It's like, uh, shit, man. You know what I mean? Like we, it's ridiculous, bro. Like,
This really got you hot, man.
bro, it's ridiculous. I'm like, next week something's gonna come out. Next week something is gonna come out.
Yeah, because them sexual allegations still lingering around. So
Yeah,
See,
that's
there you go.
still unresolved.
Yeah, man.
yeah,
It shit is crazy, man. Like, oh my god, bro. Like, it's
and
like.
and
Now,
positive. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, now I know how the Pittsburgh Steelers felt now. Like I know how they feel. But go ahead, Spence, man, because
Nah,
I could rant about this shit a little more, but
I could tell. I was gonna tell you. In brighter news, though, KFC is actually about to start making 3D printed chicken.
they've been doing that shit. They just letting motherfuckers know now.
Oh, that's what the Popeye sandwich was.
Yeah, they've been doing that shit, dog. Like that's why motherfuckers don't eat there no more. Because motherfuckers being found out. Check this out, right? Taco Bell, right? Because you know how Taco Bell and KFC, they sometimes you'll see them connected together. Like
Okay.
they have like joint restaurants, whatever. So Lisa, she just showed me some shit where those fucking, you go to ShopRite and you buy some type of fucking pasta that you have to boil in a pot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take that shit, they fucking fry it, and they pour cinnamon on it, and they're like, there you go, that's your cinnamon twist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that's how they make that shit. That's crazy, bro.
Yeah,
Nigel,
man.
why don't you say that shit? You used to work there.
Look, man, I am not
If you
an
enjoy
ambassador. I'm not. I don't support KFC or Taco Bell. I used to work there back in the day. No longer.
Listen, I support you. If you gonna give us money, we support you.
Hell yeah! If y'all gonna sponsor us, then your food's the shit. I'll buy some Baja Blast. Like fuck it, why not?
You know what tasted better, Popeyes or KFC? You know which one tastes better? Which one is paying the most?
Exactly.
Hey, yeah, but since they're
Money
not
makes your food taste great.
Yeah.
I mean that's true. But since they're not paying us, fuck KFC, and I'll eat Popeyes.
I feel you on that. I was gonna, but yeah, I was just gonna say in brighter news, you got a vegan option of having 3D chicken that has chicken cells. I don't know. It sounds weird.
Yeah,
It
sounds
weird.
good.
Just don't fucking eat it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be a vegan, vegetarian, which is 100% fine, and that's great. Just don't fucking eat at KFC. That resolves your fucking problems.
But
It's
the
like-
people need the chicken, man.
Yeah, there's healthier ways for you to go get your chicken, but
It's all the same though.
yeah, it's fucking bullshit, bro. It's like, oh man, you know what? I'm just gonna go on a diet, but I'm gonna go to McDonald's and buy their fucking salads every week. That is, come on, is that it?
That shit is too expensive. You're so much cheaper to actually
making
just
the
buy
shit
your
on
own.
your own.
Yeah. Unless I mean, shout outs to the people that probably if you travel for work, so you're not home during the week. I understand, but even then, just if you're using the company card, just go get something like different. That's
Yeah,
all I'm gonna say.
man. And-
Are we gonna hit on these possible UFOs they found, or are we gonna wrap it up?
You could hit on them. Go ahead, tell us.
Long
I mean-
story short,
Go ahead.
they found some essentially alien vehicles, and they said, yeah, we recovered them and they're here. My friend, I was talking to one of my friends, longtime friend, probably doesn't ever listen to the show, that she thinks the coronavirus was a way that they fucked up the air and made it so aliens can be on the earth. That's where I'm going to leave that shit. I know it sounds kind of wild.
What the?
That's what she thinks. That's what she thinks, man. Hey, man.
All right. So anyway, RP Regis.
All right,
Yes.
Regis.
On that
Yes.
note,
RP. RP.
the COVID-19 has messed up the air. It's the dumbest shit.
Hey, man.
Shout outs to you, whoever thought that. Shout outs to you, whoever thought that.
And shouts out to the listener who submitted that clip in the beginning of the show as well.
Yeah, shout outs to her. Shout outs to her. Maybe I don't know. Interesting discussion here with her.
Yes, shouts out to her. Maybe one day she could be a potential guest. So definitely, thank you, madam.
Yeah, definitely so. Definitely so. Shout outs to well, I don't even know if it's a shout out, but recently, and I know we about to close out, so I just want to give y'all a quick update on that whole Migo situation. So apparently, this whole I don't know. I don't put stock into it, but I guess people put stock into who follows too. It's a little stalkerish to me,
Okay.
but it is to me. It's real stalkerish to be like, oh, this celebrity doesn't follow this celebrity anymore, and they were cool. But I get it. So apparently, I guess P isn't following any of the Migos anymore except Takeoff, right? And I seen an interview recently, a recent interview. I think I might have sent it to one of y'all. It was on Twitter, I think. But apparently he sent out. Apparently, the Migos had an interview with Rosenberg, and when he had that interview with Rosenberg, he asked him about like the babe about Lil Baby, and when asked about it, they just were like, like, you could tell they didn't have any interest in anything that had to do with QC or Lil Baby. So hopefully everything's working out with them. I think this is gonna be like one of those slow burning topics that's just gonna be updated week after week. So it's still a sad situation, but
So here's my quick thought on that. Shouts out to the Migos and shouts out to QCP. OG Don in the game. It sucks. I hope that they can reconcile or just get through their issues. With that being said, though, you know what I mean. The Migos that were relevant before QC, and they could probably be relevant after QC, but I just hope that this isn't lingering from like the beef with Lil Baby. You know what I mean? Because if it is, I could see how people would be like, oh, they're just hating and they're just coming off with envy. So hopefully it's not like anything along those lines.
yeah, that's what something it may be. But I mean, I think we'll just have to take some time. Hopefully it's nothing too crazy. Hopefully it's not something that they can't move past. Definitely
Yeah,
with them all being based out of Atlanta, especially with them being all based out of Atlanta. So
yeah,
because they all probably know somebody that knows they're all connected in some way. Long story short,
yeah.
Y'all
so
ready to wrap it up?
yeah, I was gonna say. With that being said, let's get this thing on. Let's hit the bricks with this and be out for the night. Shout outs to everybody. Shout outs to Soldier Boy. I saw you guys face tats removed.
Nice. Get well
Yeah,
soon,
shout outs.
Bismarcky.
Yeah,
Yes,
definitely get well soon, Bismarcky. I saw that update. That was sad. Hopefully we see him back in better conditions real soon.
for real. Talk about legend. That's a legend.
Facts, no cap. Like
Yeah, living legend, Hall of
yeah,
Famer. Not
facts.
He's not no motherfucking jobber like some of these rappers out today. That's just getting paid to look up at the lights and do the job.
Facts.
Yeah.
If you manage the artist, I would feel like you're talking to somebody. But with that being said, yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to say. Oh, shout outs to Serena Williams and her daughter for Serena getting her daughter as a partner on the LA soccer team, I believe it was. So shout outs to them. Um, yeah, so with that being said, you've been advised.
You've been highly advised.
That's the last thing they hear every week. Just loud fucking singing.